balls on it, and always a snake. On this figurine you have on top and on the reverse side you have the snake. And that's one of the animals we find always on very old unknown artifacts. So that means that the snake must have been a very big importance in the past. In our days, as I heard, in Australia you have a lot of very poisonous snakes. This is a stone pan flute, and you can see here where it is damaged that inside the stone is brown, but only the surface is very black like lacquer. And we do not know how they could do this. And the holes are very precise done. And we asked a Bolivian pan flute player in Vienna to make us some sound samples. And I asked also 2 professors to join us to check the kind of sound. And it took him nearly half an hour until he got the first sounds out of it. And later on we found out that every 2 holes are perfectly connected on the bottom. And when he brought out the sounds, and we did a check on it, this sound does not connect any known sound, I don't know how you call it, do, re, mi, fa, si, fa, yeah, it does not fit any. One tone was high, deep, middle, very high, but we found out that these tones have a connection with the brain waves. So I think they might have been used either for meditation or for healing. This is like a boat with 3 holes, and this is very small, and when he tried with the same force, power, to get out sounds of this small flute, it didn't work, and when he used it very soft, we got the same sound like the dolphin sound. Now we are going to Colombia. This is the so-called genetical or embryological disc. I have here the perfect replica of the original, and I leave it later on here on the stage in the break, so you can check it by yourself. This material, we did material check in Vienna. It is lyddite. Lyddite is a very hard stone. It is nearly the same hardness like granite, but it is formed like leaves in the structure. So it would not be able for us in our days to do this and the following artifacts from the same material, because it's just impossible. We did a material check in Vienna, and also the most famous or the most perfect expert did a check on the plate and on the other material, and he told me afterwards, I cannot tell you how they did it, when they did it, and how old it is, but one thing I can tell you, definitely from the same material, we are not able in our days to do the same artifacts. But the strange thing on this genetical disc is that you have things on it which we only are able to see with microscope. For example, here you have the human egg with spermia inside and without spermia. You have here the spermias. You have on the reverse side, here you can see the comparison of a microscope photo inside a lady of the human eggs. And on the reverse side, you have different kind of fetus, but you have here male, female, and on the other side, male, female, and child. And Professor Gutierrez, the Colombian owner of this collection, he thinks that this disc shows the transformation from frog to human, which I do not really agree, But it is very strange that how were they able to do this piece and the other following pieces from this material, where we would not be able to do it in our days, and why did they show the face so big with round eyes? Why didn't they show how they really looked? Or the other question is, did they really look like they presented themselves here? This we cannot approve. This is a knife, and it's the same material, lyddite, and you have here the mother's head and the baby, and the bone line is around the neck of the baby, and here you have an arrow going down. That means it shows for what to use. If the line is strangling the baby, they should use this knife to cut the line. This we called birth help spoon. It is this size, and you have here the mother's head, the vagina and the baby's head coming out. And on the reverse side, you only can put precisely this finger inside, and then you can hold it only with your 2 fingers. And in Vienna, some doctors were checking this piece, and they told me it would be even safer than our instruments when the baby doesn't come out to help it, because with this instrument it would not be able to damage the baby's head, because you cannot use power, because you only can use the 3 finger. So that means you really could help to get the baby out, but you could not damage the baby's head. And this is the same material. That means the lyddite, the structure is like leaves. So it would not be possible today to make this form in the same material. So that's why he guaranteed that lyddite, the same pieces, and this piece is about this size, it would not be able for us to make it. Also these pieces. And if you see here, each piece is done in perfect style. And here you can see how they were holding those pieces. This you know from Easter Island, but this is a very small one found in the Colombian jungle. Looks like the Maui on the Easter Island. Now we are jumping to Guinea-Conakry, Western Africa. Professor Pittoni, an Italian geologist, gave me those photos, this one and the next one, and you can see here a lady's head, the breast until here. It is granite, very hard. It is in the mountain, and it is definitely not natural made, because you can see here the face. And the size from here to here is 150 meters. And the face is definitely not black African. Some skull experts did a measurement and everything, and they said it's either Asian or South American. Now we are going to Sierra Leone. The same Professor Pittoni, he was working for the Italian government in diamond mines, and there was a legend that Allah, they are Muslims there, Allah was angry to some of his angels, and he made them to stone, and he threw them to earth. He put the sky, concentrated the sky and threw it to the earth, and he put the stars, he took the stars and he threw the stars also to earth. And that means this is a so-called sky stone. We called it sky stone because they found stones in various sizes, very blue, like really sky blue. And we did a research, material research in Vienna. It is an artificial stone. It is not natural. We could find out all the materials, the ingredients, but what the scientists could not find out was the color. How could they make it that blue? And another thing, Barcelona University found out that some of those stones includes up to 13%, we call it iridium, I think in English iridium. This is a material which does not exist on our Earth, but we can find it on impact places. This is one of the Normolis, so-called, the stone-changed angels. Here you have another one, granite, very heavy, nearly half a meter in size. You have an elephant and you have a big man sitting on it. That means even in Africa, every tribe has the legions of the giants. But then, very strange, you have other pieces, half human body with some reptile face. And this is the oldest one. The other stones, always when Professor Pittoni, while they were digging for diamonds, found one of those statues, he always took some organic material from the finding place, and he did always an age dating. The youngest one was about 2,500 years, and the oldest one was this one. He found it in around 50-meter deepness, and it looks like a kind of dinosaurs. And inside this figurine was a small metal ball. And when I got these pieces for the exhibition in Vienna, I brought the statue and also the metal ball to the Natural Historical Museum for research, material research. Next morning, the professor called me and she said, "Mr. Donner, I think somebody did a bad joke on you." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because I did a material check on the small metal ball, and you know what it is? Chromatical steel. And I know that chromatical steel was found by an Austrian 1904. So I thought, oh, somebody really did a bad joke, but I don't believe that Professor Pittoni makes a joke on me. So I called him immediately, and I said, "Professor, we have a big problem. We did a material check on the metal ball." He said, "Oh yeah, what is it?" I said, "Chromatical steel, Professor." He said, "Wow, that's sensational." I said, No, but it's a modern piece, because chromatical steel, 1904, by an Austrian. So he was laughing and he said, "Klaus, what do you think? I open a stone, a 17,000 years old stone statue, because it makes a strange sound?" No, it did make a strange sound. So I was thinking, I was wondering what is inside, because there is no opening at the mouth, and this place was closed completely, so he couldn't see that there was a hole in former time. So he did X-ray from all the sides, and he sent me then the X-rays, which proved that the statue was closed when he found it, and the metal ball was inside. 17,000 years approximately, chromatical steel. So the big question, how those people would have been able to make chromatical steel. Now we go to the question, did human exist together with dinosaurs? Because in Texas, in the Biloxi River, when it was very, very dry, they found dinosaur steps and human footsteps. So of course, as you can believe, the official archaeologists and anthropologists said that the creationists did do that to make a big sensation. So it was proved that this was not done in our days. It was old, and several years later, it was another very dry season, and they broke away part of this plate, and under this plate was a second plate, again with dinosaurs and human footsteps. In Bolivia, they found 3 years ago an old stone with a perfect human footprint, and the age of this stone is approximately 15 million years. This is one of the most famous so-called OPART, out-of-place artifact, the Hammer of Texas. We had this hammer in Vienna and also in Berlin in the exhibition. and I got the approval